Welcome everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. Oh yeah. Welcome back everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today I'm really happy to introduce Coach Lee Hopkins. He's an expert on making long-standing, genuine friendships, and he's gone through a lot to be where he's at today. And I'm actually really excited to talk to another trans man because, as everyone knows, I'm trans and I don't get to interact with too many trans people. So welcome to my show. Welcome, Coach Lee Hopkins.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here and so glad to talk to another fellow trans man.
Yeah, it feels great, right? It's like
Yeah.
the whole brotherhood quote unquote thing is real. Like I remember when I first I remember when I first started my transition where I'd be like, why people bro this, bro that, what's going on? But it wasn't until I actually started meeting other trans men and I feel like the automatic love, it's like
Yeah.
it's just like an automatic love. That's the only way I could say it. It's like
Absolutely. It's like what I've been through.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. We get each other. It's
Yeah.
really awesome. So high five, yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah, tell us about your journey and how you got to become a coach and doing what you're doing.
Yeah. My journey was started from a small town in Ohio. I grew up in a little town and I just basically felt like I wasn't able to connect with anybody. And so when I get to college, I thought I would have a different experience and I wanted to, but it just seemed like I was rejected from any group that I joined, any group that I tried. And it just talking to people was really difficult for me. So I I tried, but it didn't work. So then I decided, you know what? Forget the entire state of Ohio, leave it behind. I'm going to go to California. I live in California. I had an opportunity to reinvent myself, become a new person, and do new things around new people who probably had a different mindset. That's what I was thinking, had a different mindset. But I still felt myself being very, very, very lonely. I even created something like a Central Valley karaoke, which is it's a karaoke essentially group. So I was out at
Sounds
the
fun.
karaoke bars.
I'm
Yeah,
there.
I was up all the time because I wanted to socialize. I wanted to connect with people, and I had liquid courage to help me do that. So I was yeah, I was pretty popular on the scene too. I made quite a name for myself in the karaoke scene. People knew who I was, but I was still so lonely, so lonely. And so, finally, an opportunity to move to Chicago. Now, I didn't just get money and move. I just had some opportunities arise. I got a promotion at work and I moved to Chicago. And now I thought this is better. This is much better because I landed in the Central Valley of California, nowhere like LA or San Francisco. But I landed in the Central Valley of California, still new people, still new ideas and things. But when I moved to Chicago, I'm thinking, man, this is the big time. All right. This is like the second largest city. And I'm going to find a lot of people who understand me and who I am and what I want. And it's not going to be a problem because if I can be there, I'm going to find those people. Sure enough, I did find my community. I found the trans community. And when I came to Chicago, I transitioned. So about 6 or 7 months here in Chicago, I found the right language. I found the right people. I found the education. I found the support to transition. But then guess what? Dr. Lino, I still felt lonely. So lonely. We had this brotherhood connection here for just a second. We had that, but there's something else. There's something
hmm
more to my identity. There's something more to me. And I wasn't able to really make a connection.
So
There was an
something else
age
was calling you
difference.
deep down inside, and would you say it was more of a calling?
This is like something that I was hiding. Yes, I feel like there was something I was hiding. And I thought that the idea was that, well, I'm trans. And as soon as I live that
That
outwardly.
you wouldn't feel lonely anymore, but you still continued to feel
Boom.
lonely, even though you were like feeling you were actually getting into the right quote unquote skin, but something
Hmm.
still was missing or empty or what? So what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. So then I just started to spend more time with myself, like understanding myself. So what happened was I went on a journey of self-discovery. I actually went to therapy, and there
Good for
was,
you.
yeah, I recommend it for people. I recommend it,
I recommend it for everybody, okay? Everybody, even my
not just
cat needs
because.
therapy, okay?
And when I say therapy too, I mean talking about stuff. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
talk to
just talk.
somebody about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had somebody, well, I had the idea, or the feeling, or whatever carried with me, was that I was afraid to share who I was. And I thought that I had to go find the right people to help affirm who I am. Right.
Yes.
So here I go. I leave Ohio. I go to college. I'm in college in Ohio, and I'm looking for these people. I'm in California. I'm looking for these people. I'm in
Mhm.
Chicago, and I'm looking for these
But
people.
you're really looking for yourself, huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm really looking for myself. I'm really looking to find out who I am and what I want, and being able to live that outward. So when I went to counseling, I understood that. I learned that. And I felt so relieved, felt so great that I had to go and share this with other people. And that's how I became a coach. It's my story is that I spent so much time hiding and running that when I finally faced myself, it's hard. It's not only
Mhm.
hard to face yourself, but it's
Right.
also hard to go and express and live that truth.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to share that with people. Like, this is how I did it. This is what worked for me. And I'm sure it can work for you. And man, does it feel wonderful?
It sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when did you actually say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to help people be in the same shoes that I mean, people that are in the shoes that I was in. I want to help these people. When did you actually step into that role?
This was maybe, wow, a few years, 4 years ago. I started with the idea of patterns of possibility. And I was
I love
working
that name too, by the way. Patterns of possibility. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about those patterns that we discover. So I discovered the big, large patterns was just basically to run away, Ohio, California, Chicago. And then within Chicago, I was just running from group to group to group and looking for little things to tweak in these patterns, looking for little things. So I came to the city, and I connected with the people in the bar scene. So I'm connecting with people, people know my name, they know my drink. I hang out with them after the bar closes. I hang out after the bar closes in the bar. I'm on the scene with these people and enjoying it. And so I was like, well, I thought that I was doing something different, but what am I doing? That's not right.
Mhm.
So I was working a full-time job, and I'm starting to pay attention to these patterns. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? It works for me. What if I just tried talking to someone else and seeing how that worked for them? And it's
Mhm.
just like, it wasn't just all of a sudden business. It was kind of experimenting with people and recognizing experimenting with people sounds rude.
No, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, you're just basically just trying to pick up the cues and just trying to keep making that path.
Yeah, yeah. And so then I realized, wow, I really like this. I really like what I'm discovering about myself. And I also like that it lights up people's faces. Other people
Mhm.
are excited about it too in
Yeah.
conversation with me. So I'm working, trying to find my own way to connect with other people, and discovering that, yeah, I'm connecting with other people. And I want to share with them how they can connect with other people. So about 4 years ago, I made it a business, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until a couple of years ago.
So how did you make it? How did it become more serious?
Oh, well, it became more serious as in doing it full time. And
I see what you're
that's what,
saying.
yeah, it came because there's a bit of fear about stepping out there on the ledge and saying, well, I'm going to base my entire income and livelihood and lifestyle on something that has been proven to work for other people, but I'm not absolutely sure I can do it. It's
Hmm.
fun to talk to people, but I'm not absolutely sure I can do it. I don't have a certification, or what do you call it, like a degree or
Hmm.
something that will say that I'm a license something.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if that's going to work. I just have my experience.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. And that, but it's scary.
It
It's
is
scary to
scary.
do it. Yeah. It's scary to do it. So that's what made me step out.
So what kind of coaching are you doing with people?
Well, I coach some people on connections. So I have a course, a free course. It's called Understanding Connections. And what it is, it shares with you the three kinds of connections that you're going to make with people. And there's the one with me, which is yourself, me,
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one with you, which is you and another person. So me and another person, just one other person. It's your interaction between that person. And then there's we. There's large dynamics, group dynamics, there's social constructs and the interactions that you're going to have with them. And so what I talk about is the creation or the connection between me first. It happens before it happens with anything else. So
True.
I talk about how my experiences, I'm out there trying to connect with other people and trying to connect with you, but I don't know who I am. So I want to tell you all about what I want and expect from you, but I don't even know about myself. And so
Right.
I find myself in relationships where I'm flipping out and I'm upset and I'm like, you should have known, but I don't know how to express my feelings. I don't know what I need from you. And and friendships like that, that would blow up because I don't know how to get my needs met because I
Right.
don't know what they are. Yeah, so I teach people to be strong and be founded in the me. Who am I? What do I want? And how I'm going to get it.
I was looking at your bio and I noticed that you were talking about three social myths that you had about yourself. What were those myths that you had and how did you overcome them?
Oh, yeah. So the myths was that I went on this journey, like I said, going from state to state to state. And one of the social myths is that you have to be a people pleaser. Essentially, you have to give in order to receive. And it's been said so many different ways, but essentially, you have to focus on the you connection, what
Hmm.
they want, what their needs are before you can get your own needs met. And so I went around doing that thing. I went around giving, trying to be accepted. And so I'm thinking that is something that creates that genuine connection. And then there's another connection. There's another one that's there with you. It's just about rejection, and that's at the core of it. It's the core of feeling rejected as being a punishment. It's not true that rejection is essentially a punishment unless you believe it is.
Hmm.
And I want to shift the mindset that it's information that you get. Being rejected is information of whether you want to be with this person or you don't want to be with this person. Maybe it'll make that decision and you don't have a choice, but you get the information about how to behave with them or what to expect from them because they're able to express their needs to you. And I want to stress that changing the mindset about that really helps you move on and get your own needs met.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always tell that people that rejections are redirections. That's one of the biggest things I've seen. Like they're just redirecting you. It's a new
Yeah,
direction. That's all it is.
yes, absolutely. I like that. Rejection is redirection.
So how's it going with the karaoke? Are you doing that also in Chicago?
Well, I tried. So that's one of the things I did when I landed. I
Sure, it
tried
was
here.
tough with the pandemic though.
Yeah, I mean, this so this was 6 years ago when I started. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
Oh, that was pre-pandemic.
pre-pandemic, and then I my voice changed.
Yeah.
So
You're like,
I
what am
was
I
up
gonna sing
there.
now here? You're like the Humpty Dance.
Exactly, dude. You know, because I was
Yeah.
like, I love the Spice Girls. I mean,
Yes.
I was doing the Spice Girls,
Oh
but
my
it
goodness. You
didn't
could still
quite
do the
work.
Spice Girls, just bring
I
the tone
can
down.
bring it down a little bit. It's like
Yeah, just bring it down a little bit. Yeah.
I see it. It's just I'm not used to it.
That's
But
fun.
yeah.
And so the people that you're coaching, are they LGBTQ family, or are you talking to a wide range of a big spectrum?
When I talk to a big spectrum of people, it doesn't have to be just straight people. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be cis het people, okay?
Mhm.
But the point that I want to make is that everybody has this experience where they're hiding something and
Yeah.
or they don't, and they may not know what it is.
Right.
And if they do know what it is, they're afraid to bring it out and live their truth. And I want to help people understand what those things are and how to live their truth. So I can relate to this experience with anyone because although specifically I'm trans, I went through this process believing that being in this new body is going to make me feel less lonely.
Mm-hmm.
It did not do that for me. And other people, other trans people, other family may be experiencing that too. Well, I'm darn happy with what I did. I like it. Okay.
Right.
That's not the problem. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that I'm facing rejection again on top of the rejection I was trying to run away from.
What type of rejection were you experiencing when you talk about rejection?
I thought, let's say before I transitioned, so I was a lesbian. So I came out of the closet, and that was an experience. So again, I'm feeling like, well, my family was pretty um, religious and not really accepting of that, but they accepted me. I think more like they're like, yeah, okay, this person. I mean, it just didn't feel like, I was generously open
It
armed.
didn't feel like genuine.
Yeah, it didn't feel quite genuine. And that's with me, and that's with other people as well. It's just like I felt like this is rejection. I could be projecting that as well, but that's the kind of rejection that I felt. And, there were little things like, what can I do? What can I give to a person? And it just wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a rejection that happened in many of my relationships. And I mean, friendships too. It's like whatever I want to give, whatever I can give or I'm capable of, because I thought giving time and energy was the equivalent to love and connection. And that's not true.
No, it's not.
That's just not true. And I didn't know that. So I'm thinking, well, I'm being rejected when I'm trying to give my love, which is my time and energy, I'm thinking. And it's just not the same thing. So I get rejected because of those things.
So now that you're a coach, and now that you're doing what you love and helping people overcome the obstacles that you were once in, how do you feel as far as like do you ever get people, and I'm just asking you this because I go through this being trans, do you ever feel like I need to cater to the trans community? Or do you just want to cater to humanity? Like me personally, I just want to cater to humanity, but I've often off the camera gotten people saying, why don't you focus more on the trans community? Do you ever get that?
Oh man, people are gonna come for me. People are coming. Okay. So that I have heard that. I have heard that. And I know that we're an underserviced community.
Right.
So I'd like to share and give back. At the very same time, since we are so underserviced, since we tend not to have the kind of financial resources and backing to pay for this kind of service, it makes it difficult for me to I don't say want to cater to, but for me to be able to cater to them, because this is my livelihood, right?
Right.
And I don't want to say that all trans people are poor or no trans people can afford this.
Right.
But if I'm looking towards people who have other basic needs that need to be met,
who are also underserved, right?
Yes, then this is like a kind of like a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a kind of a second thought, but I really like this idea of giving time and energy to it. That's one thing that I can do. I mean, like if I can give a free session or give some free time to it, and not just specifically or just only devote my time and energy towards one demographic. I want to serve humanity and be able to actually survive as well. And I think that's absolutely fair to say.
Totally fair to say.
Yeah.
What are your most common, I don't know if it's the word complaint or the most common obstacles that your clients get? What's the most common question or struggle or the most common thing that you get?
Most people wonder why other people don't like them. That comes to me like, well, why don't people like me? And I know the answer. It's because you don't like yourself. There's something in there.
Man, you just lay it on there.
I don't say
tell
that,
it
though.
like it is. Oh wow. But you know what? Honestly, that's the truth. It really is. And when you get to, like you were saying, when you get to like yourself and then learn to love yourself even more, then people are gonna like and love you back. But yeah, if people don't like you, then that's a clear indicator that there's something that you need to look inward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely do not say that to them like that because
Yeah.
I would have no clients.
Yeah, right.
It's all about, like there's an idea that is you go into a group and there's something about you that you want to share with this group, but you don't because you already believe that they're going to not like you when you share
Mhm.
it with this group. And that is the problem. That's the dynamic. And so we're looking for that little piece. What is it that you don't want to
Yeah.
share that you really want to share that you're afraid to share and why?
Yeah. And so do they share that with you and then you explore that idea?
Eventually we get to it. That depends on whether they know it already or whether they don't know it already. So if they know it, then we'll try and we'll dig at it because if they're sharing it with me, then it's another vulnerability. They could still have that belief like, well, Lee won't like me either. Or Lee's gonna think I'm weird. We just have to work around
Right.
getting them to open up and release that.
Well, it sounds like a rewarding job. It doesn't even sound like a job. It sounds like fun. I love talking to people myself. So to me, that's like, like if doing what you love is one of the most rewarding things you could do, really.
Yeah, awesome. And it's really great to actually chat with you too, because like I feel like it's really easy to connect because you understand my experience. And
I
then
totally get it.
yeah, and we all want to connect. We all
Yeah.
want people to understand exactly how we feel. So last thing I'm going to say about connection is that what I believe connection is not the love and the time and it's not the energy and the time that you put into something. It is your ability to understand how they feel but also demonstrate to them that you understand how they feel. You have to be able to demonstrate that to them, or else, they could come to you and say, I've had a bad day. And you say, sure, I know. I know what those are like. You might, but they don't know that you understand their experience that they're having right in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I help people bridge that gap and demonstrate that.
Yeah. Their bad day is not your bad day. Everybody's bad day is their specific.
Yeah, absolutely. And people want to be able to say, I understand how I'm having this specific bad day and how it's awful for me, and this is how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. You have to own any of it for yourself, but
Right.
just reflect it back to them. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Coach Lee Hopkins, everybody. How can our viewers, our audience, our watchers, our listeners, how can we find you?
Yes, you can find me at patternsofpossibility.com/more possibility. And there I have the links to all my social media. You can find this 10 tips for memorable conversation, as well as a link to the free course. And so I'm also on any social media if you just rather search for me there, Patterns of Possibility, and all relevant social media. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a beautiful guest on my show. You have a wonderful voice. You're very calming effect, and I know that you're gonna have a very bright future. Keep going, keep inspiring people, and I'm sure we're gonna definitely touch base again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so looking forward to chatting with you again and to like it was just really rewarding to actually have a little less fear and come talk about this.
Yes, awesome. I love it.
Good.
Thanks so much, Coach Lee Hopkins, everybody, on A Little Less Fear podcast. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Yes.